Hey Dee, what was that mystery flower you sent me that your daughter found in her garden?
It's a touch me not, which I had never seen in
I,
Oklahoma or
I
anywhere. So
I've
I had to
seen
look it
them.
up. Well, because you live in Indiana, but I wonder why it's here. I have a feeling I know.
Yeah, because touch me nots different, and that's it's balsam. Different types are
Hmm.
invasive in different areas. And do you remember an episode of uh oh, can't think of the name of it.
I don't
Hopwood
know.
Hopwood Hall,
Oh, him.
where
Yes.
they had invaded the a wild area and they were just pulling it like
Yes, yes,
crazy.
yes, yes, yes.
Yes, yes. And you
Oh
know why they call
dear.
it touch me not, don't you?
Because don't you touch it
You touch the seed pod and it'll
and
shoot
it
seeds out like nobody's business. How'd it
yeah,
get there?
Megan may okay, so I think that she had sowed a seed packet of, like cottagey wildflowers because it's what
Right?
every newbie gardener does this, every one of them.
They're going to
And
have a
so,
magical garden when that's done. Tall
yeah, oh,
flowers
and
in the back, short in the front. It's going to be beautiful.
it's gonna look just like the picture, not really. Anyway, I think that it got really wet and it was wet enough for it to sow, and it's a pretty little thing, but we'll see what happens.
Okay. I don't know if she'll see it every year, but that is interesting.
Or
I'll
she
get
may
a,
see so much of it that she goes, "Oh my gosh, what have I done?" It could go either way.
it could go either way. And I'll go either way to start this episode. Welcome to the Garden Angelus, where we chat about flowers, veggies, and all the best dirt. I'm Carol Michael from Indianapolis, Indiana. I have a suburban garden measured in square feet. It's about a third of an acre.
Lord, that's long. Mine's so short. And I am Dee Nash from Guthrie, Oklahoma, where my garden is still too large. Go
We are
ahead.
Garden Angelus because we love gardening and we want you to love it too.
Yes, we do, and we aren't afraid to tell all of our gardening secrets, the good, the bad, and even the ugly, which right now is really ugly in my garden. But let's move on to this week's episode. Carol, you have a very long paragraph here. I'm ready. I'm sitting back. I'm ready to go.
I got
What
stung by a
happened?
bee
Oh, I didn't see that part. I am very sorry for you. How did that happen?
under my chin and on the top of
Oh,
my hand. Um, Over on the garage side, I have that nasty patch of ditch lilies.
yeah.
And I am minding my own business, and I was heading back to the garden, to the back garden. I was going to do some weeding. And I thought, you know what? All these ugly flower stems and the foliage was all dyed. I'm like, I'm going to clean this up first. So I was cleaning it up, and this bee goes bzz, bzz. And I'm like, get away, get away, get away. And then goes bzz, bzz, sting, sting. And I'm like, oh, you ungrateful, no good, awful, terrible,
Witch.
ground dwelling bumblebee. I apologize. But there was no point in stinging me.
Okay,
Anyway,
so here's the thing. It stung you twice.
it's
It
tried
had
to
to have
sting me
been,
through my glove,
uh-huh.
and then it got me under the chin.
Huh. It must not have even gotten its stinger, down in that glove because it rips right out of their bodies. So, because it's barbed, bees have barbed
Right,
stingers
right, right.
versus wasps, which have smooth ones. I don't know. That's weird. But did you find a nest? Because she shouldn't have bothered you unless you were near her
I'm
ground
sure there's a
nest.
nest down in those ditch lilies somewhere. And I
Are you going to
thought,
leave those alone until winter?
yes, because I actually was thinking about digging them out. And I think what I should do now is maybe wait till fall and then put plastic over it and just let it sit all winter into spring
Mm-hmm.
and then pull
Mm-hmm.
that plastic back when it's all dead. I
Mm-hmm.
think that's
So
maybe.
if she was a bee, did she look like a bumble?
Yeah, kind of like big black ugly thing.
Okay, so their nests go away anyway before our listeners come in and go, "Oh, you're going to kill them." No, you're not because they only use that nest for 1 year. I had a
Right.
nest in my garden for a while, and yeah,
Yeah,
the lady
yeah.
who worked with me at the time, she got stung by several bees because she would not leave it alone. She had to get that
Well,
last weed, that last weed.
to
Yeah.
further my update, I
Uh-oh.
did go ahead and mow this morning and trim, and I went by that area and nobody bothered me, so that's all good. So anyway, in a more positive note, I have picked a few more vegetables, squash, peppers,
I
cucumbers.
saw
Picked a
that.
cucumber for my salad today. Last Saturday, I went over to Souls to check
Uh-huh.
out the daylilies, and I bought an Orient pent lily, and it's already in the ground. And earlier that week, I had gone to Miss M's lawn and garden down in Bargersville, I guess, and bought some more thyme. And I went to Courtyard and Greenhouse because she was having a sale, and I bought some rosemary. And those are all planted or potted up, and everything is good. And, it's just like summertime. I weed a little, I got back a little, try to keep things from being like completely berserk, try to stop and admire the flowers. How about you?
Uh-huh. Okay, so that last part, I do the same thing. I don't work as hard in the summer. It's
It's
hot,
hot.
and I've done all the prep work, hopefully, so it's not too bad. I will say this walled bed that runs right outside this window, it's pretty bad, even though we've been through it once. But I think I will just leave it till fall because it would be just the place for a bumblebee nest because it's just right for that. And snaky, it could be snaky. But anyway, let's see what else happened. Oh, I visited a new friend's garden. That was fun.
You know what? I think I saw you put a thing on your story where she,
She put a thing on the story and then I've shared it. Yeah. Melissa.
yes, yes.
She is co-owner of Front Door Flowers OKC with Erin, and she is a longtime listener. And
Hi, Melissa.
she invited me over. She's gonna think our question is about her. Melissa, it's not. It's not about you. It's about somebody else who asked something similar. And then we are as different. We're very different gardeners. She's much more neat and tidy than I am. My garden's pretty big and wild. But then again, we're kind of similar. So I have promised her some of my climbing aster, which to sweeten the pot, I will say that it was given to me by a very famous Oklahoma horticulturist. So,
Nice.
and he has since passed on. So anyway, let's see. And then I just have been doing what I call touch-up gardening, where you go out and deadhead some, pull off the spent flowers.
Yep.
My zinnias, my first group of zinnias are finally up and blooming and doing really well. And so I've been sowing some more seeds because you can continue to sow seeds for zinnias up until the end of July here, maybe the first week of August.
Probably can't do any
And,
more here, but
I think you could maybe 1 week, but then probably not, no, because they take a while to get
I
going.
I did, by the way, sow more rows of green beans because one of the rows, couple of rows I resowed, or the second sowing, they didn't come up very good. And so I did
Yeah,
sow more green beans
I should
last
sow some
week.
more now because I've done my first two sowings. Finally, my vegetable garden is starting to take off. Finally. Let's see what else. I take away spent daylily scapes, which are stems. And also I've been chasing off the blankety blank deer.
Blankety blank deer, is that a special species to Oklahoma or is that
I think
like
it's a common
nationwide?
species,
Oh,
a
blankety, yeah.
common nationwide species,
I
blankety
think you're
blank.
right. I think you're right. I just wanted to
Yeah,
clarify.
yeah, I did some videos on Instagram and I gotta say, this one video I did, it was on Brazilian verbena, right?
Uh-huh.
Verbena bonariensis, which you and I both like.
Yep.
And somebody got on there and I don't know if she's real because she doesn't have a photo and she has about 400 followers. And, I mean, she doesn't look real to me. She never posted, but she wrote, "Why aren't you growing the native Oklahoma verbenas?" And you know what I wrote back? Because I don't want to.
Did you write back because you're a bot?
I wanted to. I said no. I mean, I'm not saying I'll never grow one, but I don't just grow natives. I grow a mix. So
Yes. Yeah.
I thought that was kind of funny. All right, so that's about it. Oh, I took the Mizzou out of my lower pots. I just have fantasies of it trailing down the edges with its bright pink flowers. It's not going to happen there because that deer loves that stuff. And not only has she eaten it twice, she now has started pulling it out of the pots and just throwing the roots on the ground.
You know
So,
what? When I was at Miss
what?
Sam's, I heard this customer ask if they had any of that Mizu.
I had never heard it called that. That's so funny.
I heard,
Um,
I'm like, what?
isn't that weird? And it
It
wasn't
is
even your
weird.
phone. It wasn't your phone talking to you. All right, so let's play favorites. I'll give my favorite real quick. My favorite this week, and I hope it still looks this good, is my dill, which is gone to flower, and it's with my lavender. So you've got that bright green with the yellow blooms against the purple lavender. It's very
Nice.
pretty. Yeah.
Nice.
And it makes the pollinators so happy.
So my favorite this week is my caladiums that I bought in
Hmm.
packages at Costco, and
Yeah.
I should have started them indoors right when I got them, but I in May I finally thought, oh, I need to pot these up, and it took them a while, but I think all but one came up, and I
That's
thought that
awesome.
was pretty good. So, but I have these little 4-inch pots of caladium, and so I don't know what to do with them. I have them spread out all over the patio, and I think, well, you're just gonna live in these 4-inch pots for the summer, and that's just the way it is. They're pretty, and it's just the way it's gonna be because I don't know where to plant them, and anyway, but they're nice. I like them.
You don't have a shady spot?
Oh, I have plenty of shady spots, but I'm just like, is it worth planting those out? Should I just enjoy them in pockets around the patio in their little four
I
inch
think you should
pots?
enjoy them wherever you want to. That
Exactly,
reminds
Dee.
me of another favorite thing. I
What's
have this
that?
elephant ear this year, and I don't know
Yeah.
what the variety is. It is big and black, okay? And the center stripe down the middle, because now some of them have that center, is
Yes,
hot pink to red. I'll take a picture of it.
you
It
should
is
be
pretty.
because included in those packages were like two elephant ears and they're very slowly growing. I'm like, I'm just going to let you grow. You're not going to get up potted or anything. And then I'll let them go dormant and store them in the garage and see what happens. But
Okay.
there are three cannas
Three cannas.
that were in
I
that mix.
really, I love cannas. I have a whole bunch right out this window. They're
So
nice. I like
they
dark
are
cannas.
nice. And it
All
is
right,
upon the
cool.
canna that I discovered the first Japanese beetle this week.
I
I haven't seen
saw
them.
that.
I put a picture on Instagram, but
I saw it.
yeah.
We should put it in our newsletter for identification, sir.
Well, I hope all our listeners know what a Japanese beetle is, but sometimes I go
That's
on
not,
Facebook and, I'm like, you don't know what that is? And I'm like, well, if you just came into gardening,
well, or they just got in Oklahoma 3 years ago.
yeah, they've
They
been
used
here
to be a
forever.
northern insect.
Yeah,
No,
they came here
you
forever.
shared them.
No, I did not share them.
Did do. That's okay. We're sharing the armadillos with you. Here they come.
Do, 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 do.
Okay, question of the week. Do you want to ask it?
What should I do about my dead daylily foliage, Dee? It's so ugly. Do I have to leave it?
No, you don't have to leave it, but I also don't think you should cut down. Like one person asked me, and they said that they had seen somewhere else that you should cut it all the way down all at one time. Cut the scapes, the daylily foliage, everything. And I was like, I don't think you
No.
should do that because that'll rob the plant of its energy. If you do that to any plant, except for the perennials when we do the Chelsea chop. That's different because they aren't spent yet. That daylily
Exactly.
has put a ton of energy into its growing, right?
Exactly.
And blooming.
Exactly.
So what does it
Exactly.
need to do now, Carol?
It needs to replenish itself. It needs to rejuvenate its roots. It needs to get kind of bulked up for next year.
Yes, under the ground. So some daylilies come in dormant, evergreen, and semi-evergreen, and the dormant ones almost always try to go back underground in summer because it gets really hot. And they're like, we're out of here. We're from Minnesota and we just soon go back, right? No. So you just take all the dead foliage away. I go out there once a week and just pull away dead foliage and throw it in compost and go on with my
Right.
day.
Right.
And I pull out the brown scapes. But in connection with that, you should also take off any what we call bee pods. Bee pods are seed pods where you weren't trying to cross a flower yourself, but the
Right.
bees did it for you. Because there's two reasons. One is if you leave them on there, again, it robs the plant of energy. The scape will not become brown because it's feeding that seed pod. And then the other thing is if when they get to the point where they're ripe, they do the same thing as that touch me not flower. They explode. And if they explode, you're going to have a daylily that you don't know next to your one you do know. And maybe that doesn't matter to you, but I want big, husky clumps of daylilies that bloom a lot.
I
Which
do
I have
too.
some that have been cut back by the deer all by herself. She's eaten the leaves almost all the way to the ground because she's horrible. All right.
I thought they were blankety blank. Now they're horrible.
She's both.
I'll do a quote. If the sight of the blue skies fills you with joy, if a blade of grass springing up in the fields has the power to move you, if the simple things of nature have a message that you understand, rejoice, for your soul is alive. Eleonora Duse.
Yeah, I don't know Eleonora, but what a lovely thought.
Exactly. So
I
we're on
talk
the
I
letter,
talked a lot. It's your turn.
we are on to the letter Q. And
Yeah.
so I have found some Q flowers for us. And the first one is Queen Anne's lace. Weed or flower?
I mean, it depends. Depends on how you feel about it.
Location, location, location. Around
Yeah.
here, it grows up as a weed pretty much in every uncultivated ditch area. So
Yeah.
I'm inclined to leave it alone.
Yeah. And then that brings us to Ami, which is the green version, and then there's the purple version, and they're not exactly, they're just part of that whole clan.
And then there's the
And
confusion with poisonous hemlock.
yes, and carrots because it's all part of that family.
Exactly.
And so that's why even foragers that I see, even foraging groups, they're like, I am not IDing that plant for you
Exactly.
because that they're yeah, poisonous, a bunch of them. So,
So I'm going to leave Queen Anne's lace to the weed category for now.
and the bees, leave it to the
And the bees.
bees
And other kinds of pollinators. It's not just bees. That thing will be covered with all different kinds of things.
because it's an umbel.
Yes. So then I went out to the All America selection site and I searched on Queen and I came up with three flowers that have the word queen in them. And the first one is Queenie Lime Orange Zinnias. And we've talked about these quite a bit. And some
Mhm.
people say Queen Lime and it's Queenie. I double checked it.
Did
It's
you? It's funny because even on seed packets, I have some that say one and some that say the other. And yeah, I mean, the first one was just Queenie Lime,
right.
right? Queenie Lime Rose or something like that. And then they came out with all the other Queenie Limes. Queenie Lime with blush, Queenie Lime Orange, Queenie, I don't know. There's a lot of Queenies.
But only one in 2018 became an All America selections. And I do remember that when this came out, everybody was like, oh, I have to have that because it was just one of the first.
It was so different.
Yeah, instead of that big bright pastel, or when it's not pastel, but um, color
Primary
that
colors.
primary, that's the word I was looking for. This
Hmm.
one has some shading to it and it has a real muted
It's
look to it.
ombre.
It
Hmm.
ombre, whatever that means.
Ombre is where it fades. So,
Okay. I'm
uh
learning new things from you, Dee.
yeah. People were doing their hair ombre for a while, but there's ombre clothing. And so I would say Queenie Lime Orange Zinnia. In fact, all of the Queenie Limes are ombre. But here's the thing. The reason this one won an award is because Queenie Lime Orange is the easiest to grow.
Yes.
The others are hard, like really hard, in my opinion. I can do it, and I do because I think they're pretty, but they would not be the one I suggest for a brand new zinnia grower. I would
And
not.
I don't grow it because I simply don't want to put that much effort into zinnias. I just want
Right.
to sow the seed and let them come up, and that is that. And mine have not started blooming yet.
They haven't. Mine
I'm
just started.
one
Oh,
sow
ugh, took
wonder.
forever.
I'm a one sow wonder kind of girl when it comes to zinnias.
Oh, I'm about a 4 or 5 so wonder.
So the
So, but
next
I really
one,
like them.
another flower we've talked a lot about, and that is there's a Queen Sophia marigold, which harkens
I
back to
grew it.
1979. Oh, I've grown it many times.
It's a good one.
It
It's
is
really
a good
good.
one. Yeah, it's a French. I think it's a French marigold, so it's smaller. And I used to put seed packets in my nieces and nephews' Easter baskets back in the day, and I have a niece named Sophie. And of course, I would get her marigold Queen Sophia.
I love that.
Also easy to grow, easy peasy.
They're easy peasy, but they get spider mites here. all marigolds. Well, okay. The
I,
African marigolds don't get it as bad, but boy, do the little ones, the little French type, they get it. And it happens suddenly. Like you'll be going along and you've got this great batch of marigolds, and then all of a sudden you look over in the garden and you go, "What?" In fact, one of my clients wrote me yesterday and said, "What is
what?
wrong? What is wrong with my plant?" And I can't remember which plant it was. And I looked at it on, she sent me a picture. I got her trained. And I looked at it and I said, "I think you need to check for spider mites on that plant." And she goes, "Dang it. I had it next to some marigolds." And I said, "I think you have spider mites."
Right.
So,
And the best way to check for spider mites, if you're not sure, is to put a white piece of paper under it, tap that branch, and then when you look at the paper, you'll see all those little spider mites crawling around.
and spider mites are a mite, not an insect. So you need a miticide. And if you're in the camp that wants to do all organic, you can use neem oil because it suffocates them. Not very well, but it does. So the problem with that is it's over 90 degrees. And when it gets over 90 degrees, it can burn your leaves. So it's kind of hard. And by the time you catch spider mites, sometimes it's over. Sometimes.
Yes, and then you just remember it's an annual. It's okay.
Well, I think hers was a butterfly bush, so she's probably going to be sad. She sent me the picture and she said, "What's wrong with this?" And I said, "It's dying."
You are so helpful, Dee. I'm surprised more people don't hire you to be a garden coach.
She and
We,
I have become really good friends. It's okay. And then I said, "I think you have spider mites." So
so
next,
then there is a hollyhock called Queenie Purple from 1997. It's an All America selection. It looks kind of pretty.
it is pretty. It's a really nice shade of purple, kind of a mauvey purple,
Yeah,
for
and
lack of a
so if
better
my
word.
little hollyhock forest in my back garden takes off, maybe I should get some seeds for hollyhock Queenie Purple and put out there.
That'd be pretty.
So, and then
Next,
one last flower that has the Q, and that is Quamash, which is the common name for Camellia, also
don't
known
you
as
think
wild.
doesn't that sound like a native?
It is a Native American name, Quamash,
Yeah, that's what I figured.
and it's wild hyacinths. And I think of this more as a native to the Pacific Northwest.
Hmm.
I have some in my garden. I've had it for several years. I honestly, with everything else going on in the spring, it doesn't get a lot of attention. But I remember the first time I saw that in bloom, that Quamash was
I
at the
grew it one year.
Chicago Botanical Garden had it, and we were there in May that year, and it was really outstanding.
Yeah,
Very
because
tall.
they started
Bloom.
them all indoors and then
Well, I
they
don't know
let them
about
out.
that. It just likes a really wet condition.
It
I mean,
does. And it would have loved my lower tiered bed this year because it's just about killed everything in it. It would
yeah.
have
So
loved
anyway,
it.
it's a good one. It has flowers range, I think white, blue, purple. I'm saying that off the top of my head. Sounds
That
about
sounds
right.
right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's, if you want something that's a little taller, a little later blooming than some of the other stuff, it's worth it. And you have a wet area. Give it
Yeah.
a shot.
Don't don't try in Oklahoma. Okay, moving on.
Do a
Ready?
quote. Yes, I am ready.
If you do follow your bliss, you put yourself on a kind of track that has been there all the while, waiting for you, and the life that you ought to be living is the one you are living. Follow your bliss and don't be afraid, and doors will open where you didn't know they were going to be. Joseph Campbell.
Excellent.
But try to make money while you follow your bliss. I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
It's good to
Most
have money.
most people's bliss involves having a little bit of money and it's to
It
indulge.
helps.
Yeah. So Q
Yeah.
is for you put on quince trees.
Yeah. Hmm.
You
You
grown one
said you
before?
try. I've grown a double flowering quince. Yeah, I didn't like it. I dug it
Well,
up.
I I blew I grew a quince tree
Mhm.
for a couple years, but it was a disease and insect magnet, and I didn't
Was
want to
it?
spray, and I thought, you know what? You be gone. And I
Yeah.
sad my grandmother in Indianapolis, she had a quince tree in her back garden. And quince is something that's often paired with another fruit to make jams and jellies because quince by itself is extremely sour and you
Hmm.
wouldn't like pull off a quince and eat it, but it has a very high pectin amount in it, so it helps other fruit become jams and jellies. And she made a lot of jams and jellies with it.
Yeah, there you
So
go. That's okay. Lamb's
it's
quarter. I love how you used quarter as the cue part.
I did, and because I was reading up on some herbs, and you had put quinoa on the list,
Mm-hmm.
and quinoa and lamb's quarter are in the same plant genus, Chenopodium, and the lamb's quarter is album, and the quinoa is quinoa.
Got it.
So anyway, lamb's quarter just
So,
comes up wild in my garden, and I have heard before
yeah.
that it is extremely nutritious, and some
Mhm.
people call it wild spinach.
Yeah, it tastes like spinach. I've had it. It's okay. It's not my favorite thing. There's a purple one. There's one that has the new leaves are purple and it's really
Right.
pretty. And I actually grew it in my vegetable garden one time. So that was
That
fun.
that is fun. So anyway,
But you
lamb's
just need
quarter,
to be careful because they're prolific weeds. They have lots and lots of seeds if you don't
they
remove the
do.
seed heads.
And the
And it,
quinoa does too.
yeah, I mean, it makes sense because it's a seed that you eat. So it's got to make a lot of seeds. Like
Yes.
amaranth.
They're in the amaranth family.
Isn't everything? I mean, really, anymore? A
No,
lot of things are. Yes,
no.
they are.
But anyway, so lamb's quarter is, and there were some interesting things I read about it as far as um, being very careful if you do decide to eat it because it's, I forget what it exactly said, but it's pretty high. It can be rough on your
Um,
insides.
yeah, it can be rough intestinally.
Exactly. So anything you try for the first time, you should try with a great deal of caution.
Let's go back to amaranth. There are several things that are now being called amaranth, including celosia. Celosia is part of that
Yes,
family too.
celosia became an amaranth. Yeah, I did
I think it
remember
always
seeing
was. We just realized it. And if you think about it, of course it's an amaranth. The seeds even look like amaranth.
exactly.
It
And
produces a billion of them.
we grew the several that were sent to us by All America Selections, and I didn't grow any this year, but I was surprised to see when it formed a seed pod that the birds just flocked over there and just started pecking away at it. So that's fun.
And then there's Love Lies Bleeding. They're part of the goosefoot family.
Goosefoot family.
Goosefoot family. Yeah.
So
Because
anyway,
because guess what? The goosefoot. Anyway, those plants are also amaranth. And then there's the little ball amaranths. So see, I'm not crazy. There are a lot of amaranth.
I never thought that that was the evidence to use of your insanity, Dee. You came up with a strawberry, a quinault,
I think it's quinault.
Quinault strawberry. And I looked it up because I'm like, I never heard of this. It's an ever-bearing variety, and it's supposed to produce two good crops a year and be the
Mhm.
one of the best of the ever-bearing. But I'm not ripping out what I have to plant that.
Me neither, but it's a good one. And then you said, let's wrap up with basil Siam Queen, which I've grown many times. Have you grown it?
Yes, I have grown it. It's a All America selection from 1997.
But now I'm going to grow Everleaf Thai from now on because it's also a Thai basil and it doesn't produce seed.
Right. The other one,
And the
basil, it does.
yeah, it does. And the only basil I want producing seed is Tulsi, holy basil, which we've already
Yes.
discussed. So in the Everleaf group, I like Emerald Towers and I like Thai. I think it's Thai Towers, Everleaf Thai Towers.
I I have one sent to me by Ball or Burpee to grow, and it's just I put it in a container with a bunch of tomato plants that they sent.
I grew it from seed this year and it did great. It's
Yeah,
doing
it's
fine.
easy to grow from seed.
I think
So,
those are two really easy things to grow. And if you like to use basil, I would grow them instead, personally, in a hot climate. Now, if you live up where our friend Matt Mattis lives,
right?
his takes forever to go to seed. So I don't know why my nose itches today. Probably because the cottonwood trees are blooming.
That's lovely.
Yes,
I'll do a
moving on.
quote and we'll get on to our book. To be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment. Ralph Waldo Emerson.
Yep. Okay, onto the bookshelf, which you're going to hold up the book because I don't have it. And I found this book at a bookstore and it is called The Herbal Handbook with recipes, tinctures, teas, balms, and more. But it's by the New York Botanic Garden, and I found it at this great little bookstore here called, I think it's Bluebird Books. It's a newish. Anyway, it's a really neat bookstore and a neat book, but I didn't buy it because I bought that other book that we profiled last week. I was going to
Ah,
get it from the library. You bought it.
I got it from the library and I looked through it and I thought, you know what? I would like to have this on my shelf. And it says in the description, a charming information-packed guide to 51 herbs and their uses illustrated with rare botanical art from the renowned archives of the New York Botanical Garden. If nothing else, I think I probably supported the Botanical Garden by buying their book.
Yeah,
So, and they have, I don't do
it's
a ton of
pretty.
cooking with herbs yet, but they have a ton of ideas of what you can do with herbs that are not like
Uh-huh.
making sachets and different things and um, things that you wouldn't think about using, like, well, I wouldn't think about using catnip, for example, although you could dry catnip for cats. But they had an example of a recipe is a sweet sleep herbal sachet made with lavender and lemon and catnip.
Lavender and lemon, or does it have lemon balm?
No, lemon peel.
Hmm, that's
So here's
interesting.
here's the deal. They said that
Excuse me.
lavender and lemon are toxic for cats.
Well, that's not very nice because if you have a cat, it's going to get into that thing.
So
So I
it's
probably
a
wouldn't.
tablespoon of dried catnip leaves, 3 tablespoons dried lavender leaves, 1 tablespoon dried sage leaves, 1 tablespoon dried mint leaves, 1 slice of lemon peel. So you make a bag, a 4 by 4 bag, and mix
Mhm.
in all the herbs in a bowl and then stuff it in the pocket. And then you drop the lemon peel in and sew the opening shut and place in a drawer to freshen.
Okay, as long as you don't have cats, that
But
would work.
anyway, I mean, they have lovely illustrations,
Hmm.
so it's just nice to look through and give you
It's
some
a pretty
ideas of
book.
things to do. And of course, when you get a book like this,
Oh,
you go right to that so that Dee goes, ugh, just to see what they say
it's
about the
Viola's. You need to
buy
tell
it.
people. Not everybody watches us.
I know, I showed you a picture of violets, and previously I showed you a picture of chamomile. So anyway, I thought it was a really pretty book, and it's the kind of book that I like to actually own. So I thought I will treat myself to
Plus, you're
that.
obsessed with herbs this year.
Well, obsession is,
You're kind of late to the herb party. I mean, my whole garden's full of herbs.
I have herbs, I just haven't really ever used them. But so late to the party, but at least I'm here.
You are here. I like this little wording. So cleanse your face with calendula when you wake up. Sip a bergamot tea at breakfast. Have a lavage tuna sandwich for lunch and mix a caraway cocktail at the end of the day. Let Herbal Handbook delight your senses as they have done for others for thousands of years. That sentence is incorrect grammatically, but that's okay. I didn't write it, so I don't care. All right, want me to do the next quote?
Yes, please.
There is not one blade of grass, there is no color in this world that is not intended to make us rejoice. John Calvin.
Dirt time. I think I
You came
found
up
this
with the
dirt.
dirt. You found it.
So out in
See.
Missouri, or as you say, Missouri, Missouri has a Highway 13 butterfly trail. And so what they've done is they've created this corridor that's going to pass through 12 counties in Missouri. And they said it's 26 miles wide, 292 miles long along that highway. It's planted so that it will be a highway for butterflies. I thought that was nice.
And it's in western Missouri and it connects communities like Hamilton, Springfield, and Branson. And I have been to all of those places because my family is from Aurora. And Aurora is about 30 minutes from Springfield and an hour from Branson. That's where Silver Dollar City is and a bunch of other things. And Hamilton, I went to visit one time at least. So that would be very interesting to go see. You know what I think it is? I think they came up with it for a twofold reason. The first reason is They know how well Texas does with its wildflower highway loop.
Yeah,
They're
they
not
do.
dumb. It's taken them a while to get on board, but they're not dumb. And then the other thing is, they are part of the migration highway, just like Oklahoma and Texas are in Kansas. Don't leave out Kansas. And so I can see how they would do that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oklahoma, on the other hand, is still just doing the same old thing it always does, although they now allow corridor plantings finally, but they mow them down right about the time that the monarchs are passing through in the spring because
Yeah,
they're
and in it,
dumb.
I don't know exactly what they do in Indiana, but um
All that green milkweed, Asclepias viridis, all of it down the highways. One week it's there and you're thinking, yay, all those little monarch caterpillars are so happy. The next week it's gone. That's all I'm going to say about that.
well, I'm going to go ahead and do a quote and we'll get to the rabbit holes before you get yourself in trouble.
I don't, they
When the
can't.
sun comes out again, you should see my garden and the flowers, roses and pinks and pansies. No noise except the birds and bees. And that is the tale of Johnny Town Mouse, Beatrix Potter. Where do we come up with these things, Dee?
I find them various
Yeah.
places all over the internet.
Uh,
I absolutely love Beatrix Potter. So, and you do too.
yes.
What do you mean?
I have all her books, I think. I have a collection of them, as one does.
Well, my rabbit hole is blank. I haven't had time for a rabbit hole. I've been busy.
What?
I've been really
So
busy.
I'm going to introduce the word breadcrumb. Because I followed a series of breadcrumbs on Substack, then I have found more books written in the early 20th century to add to my reading list. I actually
Hmm.
bought a book called The Book of Forgotten Authors by Christopher Fowler, which is a long list of British authors that have been forgotten. And then, of course, one has to search out and find these books and figure out, can I read it online? Does my library have it? So I've enjoyed a couple of those books in the past few weeks. Plus, I found another lost lady at garden writing. I this lady was brilliant, I think. Brilliant.
Hmm.
She had a
How?
PhD 1916. She got a PhD studying parasites.
Yikes.
Anyway, and
Whew.
then she got
Scary.
married and had a couple of kids, so she wrote a book on child psychology. Then she got into herbs and wrote a book on herbs.
Go her. What's
Then
her
she
name?
got into glassware. I knew you would ask a funny question like that. What is her name? Minnie Watson Cam.
Okay.
So I was going to go after this other lady, and then she just appeared on my screen. I'm like, I just have to write about you. So, but she's most known for writing like 8 books on American glassware, and she was an expert on glassware.
I probably have one of her books because I collected depression wear
Yeah,
for
and
a long
so
time.
I saw references like from newspapers from like 2000 where they were referencing her books, and she died in, I forget when she died. Um, got to think. She died in the 50s, I think, in the
She lived a
1950s.
good long life.
Yeah, she was born in 1886. I do know that. And she was about in her 60s when she died.
Oh my, she didn't live a long life at all.
No, no. The fact that she was quoted in 2000 is just because her books became standard references.
Yeah, they were
But
classics.
but they said, and there was an article that said she had abandoned her herbs and everything when she discovered glassware.
That's funny.
Anyway.
So I thought of a rabbit hole. Keep talking. I got to get it, bring up my Kindle.
Well, the other thing they said is she and her husband were both collectors. So she was collecting glassware. He was collecting miniatures, oriental rugs, and oil paintings. And then their 2 sons that were living with them they had phonographs all over the place when this journalist went to visit to interview her. And I'm just
Mhm.
thinking, what a crazy household that must have been,
But fun.
but
What a fun
fun.
household.
Yes.
A really fun household. I sent you a cool one about J.R.R. Tolkien.
Yeah, you did. That there was a book
Hmm.
that he wrote about an
It was his
idyllic,
last book.
yes.
And it was about
Um,
is an idyllic village, and it was the village he grew up in. He made it fictional, but it was his village. And he had
yeah.
told this interviewer to go back and find his village because it needed to be, it needed some love afforded to it because it was wasting away because things were changing so fast. He was notorious for not liking mechanization. He would hate AI.
Oh,
He would just be appalled, although I'm a little appalled at AI myself
I'm
sometimes.
very appalled at AI.
So I happen to be on Facebook, and there's a group on Facebook where they talk about what you're talking about, the very same thing, where it's like I got led down this breadcrumb trail of authors, and they brought up this lady. Can you
Who
see it
is
at
that?
all? Okay, her
And
name Anya Seton, and she wrote Catherine a novel, which Catherine's about a real Queen Catherine, but and they say
uh-huh.
it's historically accurate and like completely. It isn't just a romance, but completely put together. So that was kind of cool. And so I put it on Kindle because it was easier to find it on Kindle. And then I don't know. Then I just read some other, I went kind of down a rabbit hole about AI centers, which is how
Yeah.
they're going to produce all the electricity and and hold all the data for AI. Because you brought that up before. It's going to take a lot of work.
Oh, yeah. There's a
And
big kerfuffle here in Indianapolis. Google wants to put a big data center on the southeast side of the city. And the residents are like, no, we don't want this. And it's a township that is not highly developed at all. So it's tons of farmland and they're like, we don't want
so I
this.
was listening to Mike Rowe on his podcast, and he was interviewing a woman. I can't think of her name right now. And this got brought up. And what it's going to do, though, is it's going to cause an explosion in trades because somebody has to build those and
Oh
somebody
yeah.
has to run the electrical cord and set
Oh
everything
yeah.
up and the plumbing and all the things you have to do. And so his foundation that he's started like what, 15 years ago,
Micro
maybe
works.
20.
Yeah.
Yeah. That one after Dirty Jobs. And he discovered that we didn't have enough people in the trades. And everybody's thinking, how does this relate to gardening? Well, my husband and I own a paving company. So we are always interested in the trades and always have been. And so he was saying that his foundation got a huge donation and several donations because all these companies that want to build these centers, they need somebody to build them. And we're
Right.
like 5 years away. So that was
Right.
interesting. That was a rabbit hole. I've had several rabbit holes
Well,
this
now
week. I'm not sure
related
they
to
relate to
that,
gardening.
this does kind of relate to gardening, but they showed out in Georgia where they've built some mammoth data centers. There's a
Yeah.
YouTube video of a couple that, their property is next to a big Meta data center.
Hmm.
And so they now have constant lights on. They never have darkness because the place is lit up like a Christmas tree 24/7.
Which is terrible.
Their water has become quite polluted and they can no longer shower or drink or do anything with the water. The little bit that now trickles out, they lived on 15 acres in the middle of rural Georgia. So they have to bring in all kinds of bottled water. So
It's like
there
the
is a,
pot farms here,
yeah,
the
there's
pot
a
growing
positive
farms.
thing and there's a negative thing. And
Yeah, I'm not
so,
saying it's necessarily positive. I think it's good for the trades until the things are built. But there's also discussion about the trades, that people should go into the trades because AI is going to wipe out all those white collar jobs. I thought that was
I have,
interesting
that
too.
is, now to bring this back to gardening, let me tell you one other
Yes.
thing. So I was going to go out to the garden the other day and I thought,
Mhm.
I'm in between audiobooks here. So I was looking at my audiobook library, which I didn't realize that I had from 2012 downloaded something called Every Lady a Gardener, a selection of writings about gardens and gardening by 19th century women. And
Cool.
it's only like an hour and a half. And I listened to it, and she quoted Mrs. C.W. Earle, Gertrude Jekyll, Mrs. Jane Loudon, Mrs. Eleanor Vere Boyle, and Louisa Johnson, and somebody named Maria Jackson, all from Great Britain. It's very interesting. It's like I should just, when I want something kind of soothing to listen to, that one is good. And I thought I really want to have the print version of this book. There is no print version, it's only an audiobook.
Interesting. How
So,
weird.
yeah, and it's only on Audible. So,
Huh, I wonder if Audible produced it or something or bought it
I don't
again
know,
to
but
make
it's
it
very,
into a
very
book.
good. And anyway, one last thing on my audiobook today,
Yeah.
you might like this.
Mm.
Provence 1970.
I'd like to go back to Provence in 1970.
So what it is, it's a book about the meeting of MFK Fisher, Julia
Mm.
Child, James Beard, and this says The Reinvention of American Taste, Provence, 1970. And it's written by the
Mm.
nephew of MFK Fisher, who found all her diaries from this time period and that
Interesting.
and how they all kind of got together in 1970. I'm just like a fourth of the way through, but it's very fun.
I bet that was fun. Really fun. And it makes sense because Julia Child and James Beard were friends, and I assume she knew MFK Fisher really well.
Yeah,
So,
so it was pretty
oh,
good.
we gotta quickly discuss Outrageous this week. Did you watch the episode?
I am all caught up on Outrageous, the
Me too.
story about the Mitford sisters. So one more
Wow.
episode, right? Just one more.
I think just one more. I don't know how they're going to wrap it up though,
I'm nice going to say there's a lot of
because there's a
history left.
lot.
There's
There's
a
a lot
lot of history
left.
left. How are they going to wrap this thing up?
Well, they're going to have season 2, season 3. Also, Downton Abbey, the final movie is supposed to be coming out.
Yeah, I
I'm
saw
like,
that. I saw that.
yeah. Okay, so moving on to garden commissions. At my house, we are installing 2 gates in the new fence. Bill found them. And we're also going to install a scarecrow water cannon that was given to me like 10 years ago and I never used it, but I kept it.
Right.
But I had an outdoor dog, so I didn't really need one. Now I need it. So we're going to install that tomorrow below the fence in the back garden to deter the blankety blank deer. And then let's see, I need the gates because I cannot get from my house to the potager, the kitchen garden, without having to go through the garage and down and around because he blocked off my path. And he was so proud of himself. And I was like, dude, I like that path. I use that path like every day. And he goes, oh, I didn't think about that. And I thought, no, because you never go out to get any food out of the garden. And let's see, sometimes I now dream of a dog again, but then I tell myself I would be the one who has to take said dog to the vet, and that dream just fades away quickly.
Yes. So I'm just going to tend my garden. I do need to think about putting something on the path other than that fabric because A, the fabric is ugly, and B, it can get kind of slippery. And I'm like caught myself
It
a
is
couple of
slippery.
times and you
Hmm.
can catch on where it's connected. I'm like, I really need to like put down a big layer of mulch or gravel or something. So, but I think
I
this
think
is,
bark mulch would be really pretty.
yeah, I think this is a job to hire someone to do. So I could do it. Maybe this
I know
fall I
you could
could
do
do
it.
it.
I know you could do it, but you know what? You could hire it done and you can afford it, so you should hire it. That's my
Anyway,
latest
other than
thoughts.
that, I need to water, mow, trim, deadhead, and harvest because we have just not gotten the rain. Just haven't gotten rain.
We're supposed to get rain tomorrow night and Sunday night. I don't want to talk about it. Other than that, that's just what we're going to be doing. Shall we close this baby down?
We'll close this baby down. Thank you for listening to the Garden Angelus. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single episode. We publish every week on Wednesdays at 12 a.m. Eastern Time.
And if you subscribe to our free newsletter, am I in the right place? Yeah. You get a link to listen to the podcast a day early and links to the products we discuss. Some of these are affiliate links. Plus, go on over to YouTube and see us look silly in person. Full episodes show up on Tuesdays.
And if you want to help support us, use our affiliate links. And thank you to many people have used our affiliate link for Cobra Head. We really appreciate that. And
Yeah,
we hope you're using that tool well or tools.
I
If you
used
buy
it
something,
yesterday.
yeah, I used it yesterday too. If you buy something after clicking through on them, we're in a small commission and it costs you nothing.
Or you can set up a monthly subscription through Buzzsprout. I pay more of these now than I did one time. Or make a one-time donation through PayPal.
Thank you to everyone who has done so. It helps us pay for podcast hosting.
It was lovely to chat with all of you over the garden gate. Bye until next week.
Bye, everybody.